topic. Yes. Molecule. So the basic difference between atom and molecule is atom is defined as the smallest particle of an element, whereas molecule is made up of atom which is bonded together. Atom does not exist freely in nature, whereas the molecule exists freely in nature. So examples of atom is hydrogen and examples of molecule is water and methane. Then come to law of conservation of mass. So first we have to understand what is law of conservation of mass. Now the law of conservation of mass states that the matter cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. It only changes its forms. This means that total mass of the reactant, the substance before the reaction, will always be equal to the total mass of the product, the substance after the reaction. So atoms are rearranged but the total amounts of matter remains the same. So in a chemical reaction, atoms are neither created nor destroyed. But what is the reactant and product? The substance present before the reaction are called reactant and the substance formed after the reaction are called product. So to understand law of conservation of mass, we have to perform an activity. For this activity, we have to need copper sulfate, barium chloride, lead nitrate, and from Y column sodium carbonate, sodium sulfate and sodium chloride. So first we have to prepare separately the 5% solution of any one pair of substance. For example, either copper sulfate or sodium carbonate, or barium chloride or sodium sulfate, or lead nitrate or sodium chloride. So any one solution we have to prepare on 5%. So 5% solution, any one pair of substance listed under X and Y in only 10 ml in water. Take a little amount of solution Y in a conical flask and some solution X in a ignition tube. So hang the ignition tube in that the flask carefully. See the solution do not gas. So you have to take care of that the solution will not mix. So put a cork on the flask. So you have to observe the figure 3.1. Then weigh the flask with the contents carefully. Now tilt and swivel the flask so that the solution X and Y get mixed. Then weigh again. So what happens to the reaction flask? Do you think that the chemical reaction has taken place? Why should we put cork on the mouth of the flask? Does the mass of the flask, its contents changes? No. So what we observe? The law of conservation of mass states that the mass can neither be created or nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. Then come to law of constant proportion. Then what is law of constant proportion? It also known as the law of definition of proportion. It states that a chemical compound always contains the same element in the same proportion by the mass regardless of the source or method of preparation. This means that ratio of masses of the elements in a compound remains constant. So what is a fixed ratio? Now a chemical compound like water always has a specific ratio of its constituent element by mass. For example, in water the ratio of hydrogen to oxygen is always 1:8. So what is the source of its independence? The law holds true regardless where the compounds are originate, how it's prepared. Whether you get water from a well, river or the lab, or the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen is always 1:8. So according to Dalton's atomic theory, all matter, whether an element or compound or a mixture, is compound a smallest particle called the atoms. This postulate of this theory may be stated as follows. All matter is made up of very tiny particle called atom which participate in chemical reaction. Atoms of a given element are identical in mass and chemical property. The relative number and kinds of atom are constant in a given compound.